I never know where to put the microphone. Maybe because it's kind of like a big penis and I get intimidated by it.
You're intimidated by the microphone.
I don't know. Do you ever feel a little bit like you're talking into a dick?
Not really. I mean, I don't know. I'm just not as precious with the microphone as you are. I think you could tell, Nick, how a man would be with another man by how they deal with the microphone. I feel some fear here from Paul. Like,
I do notice you kind of cupping the under part of it a lot.
You know me, I just kind of manhandle it. I just fucking grab it. And so, like, I think if Paul and I were in prison, let me ask you this, Nick. If Paul and I were in prison, who would you have money on would survive?
You. For sure. 100%. You also fit in, like, you look a little less like
okay.
Milk toasty. Is that
okay.
the way
I know we're going with like the
I think someone would adopt me right away.
Okay, I think we're going with the color of the skin here. My money would actually be on Paul to survive.
Yeah.
Because if you've seen the movie Out of Sight, you've got a little bit of that character in it who can sort of, politics, how to like, you would know how to pay off the right people.
I would be paying everybody off.
You would pay off the right people.
All right, for little fishies, what I said it was gonna be?
2,000.
Yeah, okay, now they're gonna be 3,000.
Come on.
Now they're gonna be 3,000.
Yeah. And also you would be doing certain criminals taxes and giving like legal advice.
I would be giving stock advice.
And doing like
I'd be giving stock advice.
Tax-free?
Tax-free. IRS can't touch 1 cent.
You're that smart banker would kill his wife, aren't you?
Hey, welcome to the Beat LA podcast. My name is Matt Farici. I'm a writer-director in Los Angeles. And I am joined, as always, by a man who loves to do the night-night celebration after he dunks, Mr. Paul Rule. Paul, how are you?
Thank you, Matt. I can't actually dunk.
Yeah.
So is that a reference to like actually after I don't know, take a crap or do something in the house?
Your celebrations where you do the night-night is like...
I'm proud of myself,
after
baby.
you come back from the gym.
Yeah.
Or after you take a good number 2 or something, that's just some shit you're happy about. You night-night it, right?
I know you're also referring, we'll get to all this stuff, but Draymond Green dunked yesterday like he actually is 23 and can dunk against the T-Wolves, and then he did the night-night.
Draymond down the lane to dunk it down! Exclamation point! And he went night-night himself!
You know what? I was on Twitter because I couldn't get enough of this.
Yeah.
And all of the kids were saying, I can't believe that Draymond did the night-night celly. Did you know this? The kids they don't say celebration, they call it the celly.
How does Nick not know this? Nick is supposed to be our source for all this shit. He's our Gen Z, whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Paul, great to see your face.
You too, buddy. Yeah, we've been off for a couple weeks. How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was we want to get into this. My Thanksgiving was tame. I made my classic purple sweet potato mash.
Right, because you want to live forever.
Because I want to live forever. It was tame. It was with the family. And I watched a movie. We watch a movie for Thanksgiving. And I watched, it came on the 1982 King Kong with Jeff Bridges and Jessica Lange.
Wow, that does. I always thought you were going to do like a holiday movie. That's not really a holiday movie.
I just want to say, whoa. If you want to watch a movie, this King Kong movie was out. It just jumps the shark. There's a whole musical number. That's not a musical number with this like Aboriginal African tribe doing like this Lion King dance.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Ace Ventura 2.
It's a little out of touch, the film, which actually made it better, but it was so bad it was good. But that was my Thanksgiving.
By the way, both didn't hurt either of their careers.
Oh, by the way, Jessica Lange.
Oh, she was on.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God, Nick. Listen, tonight when you're home late night, Google early Jessica Lange.
But even she could make Sam Shepard stop drinking.
Yes,
so
there you go. Yeah. Nick, cue the Succession music. Paul, how was your Thanksgiving and where did it take you?
It shouldn't be the Succession music. It should be a little honky tonk, baby. I was in Nashville, but before Nashville, I was in Palm Beach. But
Palm
then
Beach,
I went
Florida, West Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Well, Palm Beach and kind of both, where the whole world was at the time because Trump was in Mar-a-Lago interviewing like cabinet people.
Yeah.
And the whole world, it's like Florida, like the whole center of this country, the power center of this country is like turned into, you flip the country over and it's like all rolled into Florida. They're having a big fucking time down there. It's like the height of the Roman Empire down there.
But I thought I heard recently that the real estate prices in Florida are dropping because of the weather is kind of making Florida untenable to live, like looking down the road.
I don't know about that. It's not getting any cheaper in Palm Beach, I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
Yeah. We'd watch that Palm Royale show, so I feel like I know what I was talking about. By the way, the Palm Royale is based on something called the bath and tennis club.
Interesting. Well, you were talking about, you were going to bring this up with Nick after, that you wanted to move the BLA offices to Clearwater.
Well, I'd like the tax benefits, Matt. I'd like the tax benefits.
Yeah. And then the Nashville.
And then Nashville.
Family good.
It was great. We had a great time. I bought a pair of cowboy boots, Matt. Maybe I'll wear those next week when I come in here.
Yeah.
And I worked on my George W. Bush accent when I was there, and people seemed to like it. We had a great time.
Hey, I want to shout out quickly BLA correspondent Steve Groschel for Thanksgiving. He actually went all the way to Buffalo for the Buffalo Niners game.
Oh, my God. Questionable decision. He tried to get us both to go. We both knew enough.
We knew better than to do that. Paul, before we get into the 49ers, Warriors, and Giants, and also, folks, stick around today because we got a great guest. We have writer, producer Greg Schafer, one of Paul's oldest pals. He's worked on some of your favorite TV shows, from Mad About You to the Tracy Morgan show to most recently Brews Brothers.
Yeah, Brews Brothers on Netflix. Very funny show that not enough people watched.
And also, he's a big Michigan Dallas Cowboy guy, but great stories.
Right. We're going to talk to him because Michigan's very much in the news still after that Ohio State game.
Yep.
And we're going to commiserate about the fact that both of our football teams suddenly suck.
That's right. Before we get into all that, there's a segment I want to beta test, Paul.
Yeah.
It's a segment. I don't know if I told you about this. Well, I'm springing it on you. Basically, I want to start a segment called First Date. Okay? And it's going to go like this. It's just, I wanted a couple of things, even though we've known each other for over a decade, where we tell each other things that we don't know about the other person.
Okay.
And we get your quick take on it.
Okay. First date. Is that because I was talking about the microphone being a penis? Is that why?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So this is First Date, Matt
Right.
and Paul. Here's a couple things you don't know about me.
Okay, this is good. Yeah.
I've never had boba in my life.
Boba.
Never drank a boba.
I've never had boba either.
Oh my God, look at this. We're fucking this. We might have a second date. We're connecting here.
Yeah, we are connecting here.
I've never listened to a book on tape.
They're not on tape anymore, by the way. But yeah, sure.
What are they on?
That's crazy.
What are they
Do
on?
you read?
I read books.
Huh. They're on, your iPhone. They're Audibles and stuff. like that.
Audibles.
Yeah.
So I downloaded my first book on Audible the other day.
What was it?
It's the Heat prequel book that Michael Mann wrote with this other person, the prequel to Heat. I couldn't get into it because the guys on the thing, like,
So,
all
but
of
you
a
love
sudden,
podcasts. It's basically they were the podcast before podcasts.
it feels like a guy like trying to read me a bedtime story. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, this may not lead to a second date.
Well, tell me something about you that I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Just a dating game. So Chuck Woolery just died. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
Do you know that I was in a infomercial with Chuck Woolery when I was an actor?
No, we didn't.
Yeah. It was shot at the Beverly Hills Country Club, which is now the Griffin Club on Motor.
Right.
And it was like a 1-800 like dating number thing.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't remember all the details. It wasn't I remember the 1-900 things.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't that. It wasn't like a sex, like phone thing.
Yeah.
But because he was the dating game guy, it was like, I was in it as like a guy who supposedly like met the love of my life by this 1-800 phone call number thing.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I love to see, this is what the love connection, Chuck Woolery. I have a Chuck Woolery story.
Yeah, love connection. He wasn't dating, he was love connection. Yeah.
So I was in rehab maybe about 20 plus years ago.
Yeah.
And it was
our audience doesn't know anything about that.
It was family group weekend. And I was in a group where your family came to group.
Okay.
My mother came. She was very supportive. She was sitting next to me. And a guy I was in rehab with, I think his brother-in-law, it must have been his brother-in-law, was Chuck Woolery. And he was in group with us. And all I kept doing was 2 and 2.
We'll do it in 2 and 2.
I like that segment, man.
40, yeah, no, I think I dig it too. Paul, there was a tsunami warning in San Francisco last week because there was a 7.3 earthquake off the coast of Humboldt County.
Right. California loves its lockdown. Mike Baust texted me that his daughter, who lives a half a mile from the ocean, her school locked down.
I know. Was that tsunami the 49ers coming back to life?
It was a lot. By the way, I'm wearing my Niner hat. You can see, even though I got a haircut, I got a fresh haircut.
Yep.
And if you're on YouTube watching this, you got to do our housekeeping.
We got to do a little housekeeping. Folks, once again, thank you for listening to BLA Podcast. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. You just learned this.
I just learned this. It's crazy.
And Spotify. You can also watch the show and the clips on YouTube, TikTok, and Instajammers, also called Instagram.
Right.
And follow and subscribe. Leave us a review. It keeps the lights on, baby. 49ers. The pod lives. You texted me.
Pod lives. I would argue this maybe was the best Bay Area sports weekend of the year.
That's a bold statement.
Okay, listen to me. So the Niners played their best game, kind of a meaningless game, but played their best game. The Warriors, who can't beat the T-Wolves, they've lost 5 in a row, the Timberwolves, looked great last night. Buddy Hield came back. He could shoot again.
Yeah.
Draymond did the dunk we talked about. And the Giants finally got if not the big fish, a big fish. They got the guy they've never been able to get. They signed Willy Adames for about half the money they were going to pay Carlos Correa, by the way.
Sure.
It's incredible that they got him. They got him before Soto signed, which means the market hadn't even been set yet. I think Buster's a witch. Anyway, I thought it was a great weekend. I think maybe it's because of the earthquake.
Well, hey, let's just do Wheel of Fortune here. Cut to the clip.
Tavares, right in the butt.
What?
No.
The pod lives, or does it? It's with the question mark.
Right.
We beat the Bears yesterday. I mean,
The pod lives regardless, man.
It does.
But we're so popular now.
It's so true. It's so true. But it's the Bears. It's the fucking lowly Bears with their interim coach.
Right.
I mean, he was great. But we kicked the shit out of the Bears.
The Bears are not that bad. The reason the coach got fired is because of game management issues. They should have won their last 3 games.
True.
Right?
They got the number 5 passing defense.
Although
in the
he was
NFL.
their defensive coordinator, and their defense looked like shit. So I think Eberfloss, or whatever his name is, Eberflus. I don't know, it seems like it's some movie, some dumb name for a movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, but apparently he should be a lifetime coordinator, and they played hard for him on defense.
Yeah, that's true. Well, listen, the 49ers win. It looks like Garendo might have sprained his foot.
He's made of glass. He was built in the same shop as Elijah Mitchell.
That's exactly right. I love that. Great call back there. Here's some Niner topics.
I loves it when I actually pay attention.
I know, it's great. It's great. Yeah. Kyle put down the rumors after the game that he was going to get traded to the Chicago Bears in the offseason.
Kyle's going to get traded?
Oh, yeah, that was the big news. Not friend of the Niners, Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk was throwing around that said in the offseason, the 49ers might trade Kyle Shanahan to the Chicago Bears for a pick.
That's how you get the Trey Lance picks back.
But it's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Dre Greenlaw is supposed to come back Thursday.
Right.
For the Thursday night game against the Rams.
I heard that Bosa, there's a question, because it's this back-to-back, 4 days off, that there's no way they're playing both games. So the question is, will Bosa be back? And then, of course, will Greenlaw play? Will Trent Williams be back? Are they going to be full, at full strength for Thursday?
Full mast?
At full mast, like this microphone in my face. I'm noticing a theme in today's podcast.
Paul, this is a question because I know you have sources in a lot of places.
I do.
You try to keep them under wraps because of, I get it.
Yeah.
I get your position. Brock Purdy gave a speech to the team on Saturday night.
Right.
Kyle Shanahan said, "They're probably tired of hearing my voice. Somebody on this team needs to speak up." And he spoke to the team.
Right.
And they ran through a fucking wall on Sunday. What did Brock Purdy say to the team?
Well, I've got 2 thoughts. So Lenore also spoke as a Kittle, right? Everyone's like, this is a passing of the torch. They went to 2 of the young guys, right? 2 guys they know are going to be around. Lenore just re-signed.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, hey, Kyle, where was that idea 3 games ago? When you had to beat the fucking Seahawks, and then you went on this fucking slide, through the cold weather parts of America. What did Purdy say?
Yeah.
I think Purdy said, hey, guys, I'm going to make $50 million start next year. Drinks are on me.
And that just made the guys go, let's fucking go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
He's going to start buying Rolexes for these guys. That's what they do. They're offensive linemen. Brock doesn't mean he'll do any of that because he's not making enough money.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to make a bunch of dough start next year, and you guys you're all invited.
You know what I love about this, Paul? Because now you give me ideas.
Right.
Okay. You've been talking about this on the pod for months, almost a year, about Brock's good guy image.
Right.
Brock's a competitor. I think he's got some like Michael Jordan level competitiveness in him, but I think he needs to go bad boy. Because, he's got the good boy thing.
Johnny Manziel.
Yeah. Those guys are going to gravitate towards, bad boy Brock Purdy.
It may negatively impact his play at quarterback, but they'll like him more. You think he should do like a full-on Pat Burrell kind of thing? Pat Burrell, Aubrey Huff, like Pat Burrell ruined Aubrey Huff's life because you got him like drinking and stuff during the 2010 run. And the Momo, there was stuff they were doing back in the back of Momo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think Brock Purdy should go full heel, like when Hulk Hogan turned and became part of the New World Order.
Hulk Hogan arrived. Hulk. What is he doing? My God! Is he the third man? He's the third man. What the hell is going on here?
Hey, I wanted to just say his name. Yetur Gross-Matos, 3 sacks.
3 sacks. He's been your favorite from the start of the year. Just you love names.
Okay, listen. The Niners are 6-7. We needed the Cardinals to beat the Seahawks to make because we got to win the NFC West. That's the only way we're getting in. We have to win the division. Seattle's 8-5. Rams are 7-6. We're 6-7.
Rams scored 44 points yesterday.
Even if we run the table, we're not going to run the table. Right. Even if we get one loss,
they got to play Detroit, but they're playing Detroit at home.
Even if we lose to Detroit and win out and finish 9-8, 7% chance of making the playoffs. I just want to temper all of our listeners' expectations.
If they win out, they'll win the division.
We're not going to win out. We're not making the playoffs.
I know we're not.
Yeah. So with all that being said, we're playing the Rams Thursday. The Rams look like the greatest show on turf. They beat the Bills yesterday.
Right.
We lost to the Bills. Rams are coming to San Francisco or to Santa Clara on Thursday, and we're a 2.5-point favorite.
Right.
Paul, what do we want to talk about here? Thursday, prediction time, Niners, Rams.
So I'm going to hedge a little bit here. If Garendo plays, they win.
Nick, I see him sitting across from me. I don't know who's sitting across from me.
They've kind of had the Rams number. I know they fucked up earlier in the season. I think this team's got a fresh jolt of energy. I think that they're gonna do a Niner thing. They're gonna play great the rest of the season. They're gonna finish 9-8. They're gonna lose one more game to the Lions.
I mean, Paul, all of that sounds great, but I just know what the Rams' offense is and what our defense really is.
I know. I think that the Bills were reading their own headlines. I think the Bills aren't that good when they're not at home. This is a home game for the Niners, right?
Yeah.
Home games at Levi's at night are great. There's no traffic issues. You don't have to worry about getting fucking baked on that one side of the stadium. We get hit by the sun.
Yeah.
Like I think they're gonna come ready to play.
Okay.
I think Brock's back. I think they're gonna win this game.
You think the 49ers are going to win this game?
Yeah.
Give me a score.
What's the over under 48.5? Is that what you
I'm not going to tell you.
I actually read this.
I'm not going to tell you.
So by the way, the last 3 games, they were 35-10, 38-10, and 38-13. Look at that numerology there, right?
Yeah.
So there's something going on. Mercury is in retrograde.
Yep.
Do you know that?
Sure.
So maybe those numbers have something to do with that. I think they're going to win.
Yeah.
I think they're going to win 35-21.
35-21. 49ers are going to win. Paul just said it. They're going to win 35-21.
Yeah. Rams defense is not good.
I mean, listen, I know why Mercury is in retrograde. I would say because
I had an energy healing last week too, Matt, just so you know.
I was going to say because the moon there won't be a full moon this week. Yeah. Nobody on either team is going to be on their period. Because I know that you know about how the cycles kind of line up with the full moon.
I'm a big believer in male periods. I think they're real. I think they're real. I think once a month, man, everyone's like, oh, you know, period. Guys, can you just feel great all the time? I don't know about that. I get pretty moody once a month at least.
You do. Yeah, so do I. Listen, I think the 49ers, this Thursday night, we're going to come out. The offense is clicking outside of Deebo Samuel.
You got to pick the other way, dude.
What happened to Deebo Samuel?
Well, he's going to make the decision easy in the offseason. He's gone.
But what happened to him?
I think he's internally pouting. There's no way that he didn't think that Pearsall and the money for Ayuk meant that he was gone.
No, I'm not even going there.
All right.
His longest run this year is 11 yards.
I understand.
There's one thing about a guy losing a step.
Yeah.
I mean, he can find zero space. I don't know if it's because he's dressing like a member of the YMCA when he comes to games. I just think we don't have enough on defense to win this game. And I think the 49ers lose this game.
Wow.
31-24.
Okay. So you think this last week was dead cat bounce?
Dead cat bounce against a real bad Chicago team. Shout out to Jet Hathaway. By the way, I just want to say a real quick pet pleasure.
Yeah.
I love the Bears and the Jets sucking this year.
The Bears always suck. They both always suck.
But they had the Hard Knocks earlier in the year.
Right.
And so all of their Chicago people. And I love Chicago. But there's just some joy when an entire city fan base is disappointed, especially the Jets.
You're such a hater.
I just love it.
You don't like the
so
first.
much.
New York's the biggest city, and then there's the second city. You like third cities, like San Francisco.
I like third cities. Yeah, I'm a third city guy. Speaking of third cities, the San Francisco Giants say hey, baby.
Yeah, I feel like we should have almost done an emergency podcast here, and I know we got to keep moving here because we got this great interview coming up. But I'm thrilled with this Adames signing. Again, if you go back and you look at, they got close with all these guys, right? Judge and, kind of, they were always the bridesmaid, never the bride, right? Yeah. And I know Adames is not Soto, but I don't really want to pay Soto $750 million anyway.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I think for what they got, the fact that they signed him before the winter meeting started, the fact that they signed him before Soto went off the market, because as soon as Soto goes off the market, then all the other teams that were bridesmaids in that, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, the Dodgers, they're all going after Willy Adames. You don't think the Dodgers needed a shortstop? Right? You know, Mookie Betts is, you know, the fact that they pulled this off, that they actually got somebody, a hitter who wants to play in San Francisco. Where power hitters go to die, where Barry Bonds was the last guy to hit 30 homers, to me is a fucking miracle. It's a miracle.
It's a little bit of chess, you're saying.
Everyone was like, oh, Buster's bringing in a bunch of guys from the organization. He didn't go out. Who's he going to get into, like, who bring in the baseball knowledge? I think this Manasian guy was at Milwaukee, and I think he had a relationship with Adames, and apparently he did, right? And that helped. And then on top of that, Buster hired his old agent at CAA to come in as a special advisor, who is Adames' agent, CAA. So I think Buster is more of a fucking, negotiating.
You remind me of Brian Windhorst at the deadline when he's talking about trade.
Right.
He's connecting dots.
I'm going to take that as a compliment, right?
You take it as a compliment.
I'm going to put on my old Princeton JV mitt here just to legitimize my baseball knowledge.
You just gave me a pet peeve.
Okay.
You know what I don't like, and this is just weirdest.
I feel like it's going to become personal here.
No.
Okay.
I don't like that he pronounces his name Manasian.
How would he pronounce it?
Manasian.
Manasian?
Yeah, just own your fucking Armenian shit.
Well, maybe it is Manasian.
But he wants to be Manasian because he doesn't want to be known as a guy that gets in a BMW and honks the horn and drives around like a maniac with flags on fucking Independence Day. Am I wrong? Am I wrong, Nick?
We just lost all our Armenian listeners.
I love Armenians.
I know you do.
Manasian.
Cher's your favorite Manasian. Armenian.
So I love Cher. Yeah, baby. Listen, winter meetings are coming up.
Do you believe in life after love, man?
Absolutely. Paul, winter meetings are coming.
Winter's coming.
Winter is coming.
What are the Giants going to do? Are we going to get Corbin Burness?
They're going to get Corbin Burnset, actually, from LA Law and from my Hallmark movie, For the Love of Grace. He played the chief of the fire department.
Wait, who?
Corbin Burnson. You know,
yeah.
He was in Major League.
Major League, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to get him. They're not getting Corbin Burns.
Roger Dorn.
Yeah, they're not getting Corbin Burns.
Yeah.
They're going to have no draft picks left. They have to keep doing these guys.
No. But seriously, you don't think we're going to get Burness?
No, I don't think so.
Why?
This is my prediction, my bold prediction. They're going to get the Japanese pitcher whose name escapes me right now.
Roki Sasaki?
Yeah, they're getting him.
How much is that going to cost?
Not, because he did the Ohtani thing. He's coming out before he's fully vested in Japan. He is not going to the highest bidder. He's going to the team where he wants.
Okay.
And he's going to want to go West Coast.
Yep.
San Francisco got rid of their DA, so now there's not going to be as much shit on the streets, which the Japanese are very clean people.
Yeah.
And then he's not going to want to go to a team with another Japanese player. I read this because the fact that he can't make as much money because he's coming out early, he wants promotional opportunities and sponsorships. And if he goes to a team like the Dodgers, who already have two Japanese players, he's not unique.
I love it.
There's the Yomiuri Giants. The Giants is a brand in Japan.
I need to stop you right here. Because
I'm on a roll, baby.
No, but I want to do a new segment.
Okay.
This is a new segment called Role Play, brought to you by Pleasure Chest. And in this role play here, I'm going to be Roki Sasaki. And I want you to give me the quick elevator pitch why I need to come to the San Francisco Giants. I was going to do a Japanese accent. I knew a little bit of Japanese.
I just did the whole thing. Hey, you want to be Sadahara O?
No, hold on. Hello. Hi.
Hi, Rocky.
Hi.
How you doing, buddy?
So, why you guys?
You want to come play for the Giants. You'll be a star in this town. There's a Japan town. There's all sorts of stuff. The Giants signed the very first Japanese player ever back in the 60s. We have a legacy with this. You're a guy, and we're also going to get you. Rocky's yawning at the moment. I don't know. Hookers? Do you like hookers, Rocky?
Man, I want to be in here for this pitch here. Listen, I love that you think we're going to get Roki Sasaki.
Okay.
Everyone, stick around. We're going to be interviewing Greg Schafer in a little bit. Stick around for that interview. Who else? Give me a name that's maybe not on the board big that we might get. Do you have a name? Another name that you want, or somebody else that you're in your?
I just like the fact that Michael Conforto went to the Dodgers. Basically, the Dodgers took the Giants sloppy seconds with Conforto.
But is there another guy you think we're going after, an outfielder, another pitching guy? Is there another name you think of, a guy you want?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they shot their wad, as they say. I think they're going to do around the edges now, as they say. I think they're going to get the Japanese pitcher, and their shopping needs will be mostly done.
All right. And by the way, speaking of analytics, I'm going to segue to the Golden State Warriors now.
Okay.
All right, the Golden State Warriors. Paul, I feel like I kind of nagged us into a win. Right. Because in the show notes I texted you yesterday, I said since starting 12-3, we are 1-8 since. And then they won. We're 2-7 since. We had a huge win last night against the surging Timberwolves. We won that game because Curry was Curry, but also because Jonathan Kuminga has turned into a poor man's Dominique Wilkins.
Dominique on the break gets a shot. You can show that to us again anytime you want. That's good stuff.
He's looking great as a number 2 scoring option. Draymond, even though he didn't last night, says he wants to come off the bench and have Kuminga start. Here's a great thing I read about this morning. The Warriors starting lineup yesterday. They ended up having Gary Payton start on Ant. Guess how they came up with that starting lineup yesterday?
I don't know, man. Tell me.
Analytics. The analytics department came to Steve Kerr and said,
"Oh, I saw this.
The computer says this is the lineup we should start against the T-Wolves." And he said, "Let's do it."
Yeah.
And they won.
I read this article. That I can't remember his name, but I think he was of Indian descent who works in the analytics department.
Okay.
And I'm like, you don't see this name in basketball.
Yeah. Right.
So.
The Draymond dunk reminded me of Baron Davis. Not that it was as good, but I jumped out of my seat.
Draymond down the lane to dunk it down! Exclamation point! And he went night-night himself! He's doing the night-night.
No, it was exciting. Yesterday, again, I said best sports weekend of the year, potentially. I mean, you could go back and say, when they beat the Lions, went to the Super Bowl after. But I don't know. You get all 3 teams doing something good.
Did that dunk remind you? Did it feel like a little Baron Davis energy on that dunk?
It did. By the way, do you know what the San Francisco Standard is?
Yeah.
I had no idea that there was a new publication in San Francisco that Tim Kawakami and David
Lombardi went over to. That's why I follow them now. They left The Athletic and they're over there now.
I had no idea.
Let's run a clip from that dunk on Draymond.
Yeah.
The most impressive part of this play, not only is Draymond going through the legs one-on-one with Gobert. When's the last time you saw an ISO at the top of the key with Draymond and in crunch time? The best part of that play is little Steph Curry comes on a back pick and picks 7'4" Rudy Gobert, and Rudy Gobert crumbles like the little French bitch that he is.
I love when we talk. See, you get passionate about basketball the way I get around baseball.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to happen? Wednesday is the NBA Cup.
Yeah.
They're playing the Rockets. Yeah. How are you feeling about that?
Listen, I mean, I'm going to take some of your 49ers vibes.
Okay.
I think there's some momentum here. I think we got the Indian guy in the analytics department now.
Right, thank God.
And
finally.
We got some momentum. I think Kuminga is coming to his own. I think we win that game.
Great. Okay.
And then we're off to Vegas.
Look, 2025 is going to be the year.
Yeah.
Bay Area sports.
Yeah. We're going to keep it there because we got a great interview coming up with writer, producer Greg Schaffer. We'll be right back. BLA folks, we're back. As I said before, we have a great interview today with one of our biggest fans. This feels like
one of our biggest fans. That's not how we start. We're one of his biggest fans.
Well, there you go, Paul.
But it works both ways.
This works both ways. It feels like a fantasy camp. What's those baseball fantasy camps?
Rock and roll fantasy camp with Sammy Hagar.
All right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go big here, right?
Okay,
you know how I love the intros here.
Yeah.
Our guest today, folks, he was the creator of the Netflix sitcom Brews Brothers. His producing and writing credits include Mad About You. I love me some Paul Reiser, by the way.
I know you do.
Yeah. The Tracy Morgan Show, That 70s Show, That 80s Show. Notes from the Underbelly. But he most notably played Loud Patron number 3 on 2 episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
But to us, he's just a Michigan Wolverines and Dallas Cowboys fan. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Greg Schafer.
Hello. Thank you, guys. Cheers.
I didn't even know about the Loud Patron.
I think that's the coolest.
Yeah.
That was fun.
You had to work hard researching that, Greg. You're usually very quiet.
I am. It was very difficult for me.
Yeah.
To have to speak up.
Greg's got there's a lot of things we talk. Greg and I are old friends. We worked on my very first television show together. Okay. They called me, what was my nickname, Greg?
Well, Staffy.
Staffy. And but Greg was an actor before that, and I hope that right now we can cut to a clip of his headshot, Greg. I don't know if you can give us that.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Well, if it were a few years ago, it was permanently up on IMDb because one of my college buddies paid for the IMDb pro to actually put it in. So, and I couldn't get it off. I tried with my agent, couldn't get it off. I think the agent just didn't want it.
It feels like when you come in last place in a fantasy league and there's a fantasy bet involved, and that it feels a little flimsy that you couldn't get it off. Greg, I think you liked it on there.
Yeah, because I had hair and less than 2 chins. Yeah,
Greg's our second soap opera star. Brandon Barash, big star, was on a couple weeks ago, and Greg Schafer was also a regular on a soap opera as well as on Broadway in The Little Prince.
You're going way back.
I know his whole.
What was the soap opera called?
It was called One Life to Live.
I'm a General Hospital alumni.
All right, that was an hour before you, an hour. Just so we're not. This was because anyone watching this is going to say, "How is that possible that this guy was on a soap opera?" I had a mushroom cut, and I was like, I was 10 years old playing a 12-year-old for a couple of years, but it did pay for college.
Greg, if I look real hard at your face, I can see it. Yeah, it's
you
there.
can see it.
I can see it's there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've eaten 5 versions of myself since then. But,
Let's get to the real hard-hitting question, the Connie Chung questions here.
You're 43, you have a wife and 3 children, a lot of buildings, a lot of debt. Have you gone through your midlife crisis yet?
Do you believe in the Cowboys, Greg? Do you believe?
Do I believe in the Cowboys? I am still shocked that the Cowboys are relevant when we haven't done anything in the 21st century. I'm just amazed by it.
Wow, that's a sound.
And that is I mean, I'm a fan. I've been a fan since the 70s, since the Ed Too Tall Jones, Drew Pearson. Everyone. Roger
Hollywood
Staubach.
Henderson, cocaine.
Danny White, Randy White, everyone. And we had some good years. We had some really good years. But it is amazing to me what's going on right now. And I think that, this season, I mean, we're talking about the game tonight. I can't even, I don't know what's going to happen. I just want a new coach and a new general manager.
Yeah.
Which would mean a new owner.
Right.
Well, it would mean a son owner, which will happen eventually depending on how many Johnny Blues in solo cups the older guy has.
That's fair. Greg, by the way, is from Warren, Ohio, where all Dallas Cowboy fans are from.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Let's go there.
Well, I mean, you clearly were a front runner. At one point, you were a bandwagon guy, right?
In Warren, are they Browns fans?
It's it's funny I can actually relate this somewhat to some San Francisco stuff, which is why I've always hated the 49ers.
Bring it.
So in Warren, Ohio, kind of in between Cleveland and Pittsburgh, you either a Browns fan, like my father, a Steelers fan, which of course everyone jumped on the bandwagon there, or the Youngstown 49ers.
Yeah,
there you go.
I would say there were more flags for the 49ers than anything because they were the only one that was relevant, starting in the 80s. And we called them the Youngstown 49ers because of DeBartolo. It was pretty amazing. And so it wasn't just because of the catch, but it was because I would see everyone, that to me was bandwagon fans, was everyone, rooting for...
Was Warren near Youngstown? Is that close?
Like 10 minutes.
I was the ultimate bandwagon fan. I was an Oakland Raider fan until they moved to L.A. And then the year they moved was the year of the catch. And then suddenly I became a 49er fan.
I wasn't a bandwagon anyway. My mother was from Waco, Texas.
Here we go.
Koresh. So I did grow up seeing my grandparents and going to Dallas Cowboy games when I was a kid in the 70s.
But I want to ask about the Youngstown 49ers real quick.
Yes.
So the DeBartolo family, and I mean that in the most Corleone way.
You should.
Was that the case? Like they kind of give me the skinny. I mean, as far as like
there is
something, not criminality, but there was.
No. I'll tell you a couple of things. The Warren Youngstown area had some of the best Italian food outside of New York and Chicago. Also had the biggest mob collection anywhere outside of New York and Chicago.
Interesting.
It was weird. Like growing up, we would have. I just thought it was normal. We had great Italian food, and then all of a sudden, like once or twice a year, a restaurant would burn down. I swear to God, you can look this up in Warren Youngstown area, straight through late 70s, early 80s.
Your lake caught on fire.
And that's Cleveland. That's Cleveland. But this was just.
So you saw the guys with the Rolexes, that kind of.
There was a little bit of that, pre Sopranos and the Midwest version.
The most mafia sort of guys. See, my dad was born and raised in Pennsylvania, and so he used to tell me in the Catskills there was this bar you could go to where retired hitmen there was kind of the retirement community for hitmen, and you could go to the back of a bar and on a chalkboard, this is like the 50s, there was a broken legs, $32. Like there was a menu of what you wanted done to somebody if you could get in there. That feels Youngstowny a little bit.
How much would it cost to get the Cowboys in the playoffs on that menu.
Oh, God. I mean, we'll see after this Bengals game tonight. I don't even, part of me doesn't want to because I want them to get other draft picks and just like have the whole house of cards fall down.
Well, I love having a Cowboys fan on because I want to ask this. It feels like every year Jerry jumps the shark, but it feels like you really jumped the shark a bit this year with this squad. The glare from the light from the stadium was a little bit brighter. The roof's falling down.
Yeah. No, there does.
Dak's hurt. It feels like there's a confluence of bad juju.
I agree. I mean, I think that it's almost like he keeps talking the talk and making promises each year, and this is the year, and then, oh, God, the signings. I mean, it's not, I understand it's all funny money right now, but there does come a point where, like, you can't hold this together and, pay two people, $350, $400 million.
Do you fear that if they continue winning, Mike McCarthy will keep his job?
That can't happen. That is definitely a fear. I have a couple of other LA Cowboy fans we are very, very worried about that. Yes. He is he's not the right guy. It's typical Jerry Jones. He's a yes man. He's a yes man to him, and he basically just kind of follows in suit, and that's why, that's what happened with the Jason Garrett days.
Do you think he is Wesley Snipes, Jerry Jones, in White Men Can't Jump?
You'd rather look good and lose than look bad and win.
Fuck you. See, you don't know shit about me, all right?
He cares more about looking good than winning?
Yes and no. I think he does want to win, but he has no idea how to win. But I will give him props on everything else. I mean, AT&T Stadium and everything else about it, like, he knows, with the World Cup going there, like, he knows how to make money. I mean, that's why the Cowboys are the Cowboys still, which is amazing. I said they shouldn't be relevant, and yet somehow, they're the most valuable team in the world.
Have you ever been there to AT&T Stadium?
I have.
Yeah, same.
Thank you for my cup, by the way.
Yeah. I went to an LSU-Oregon season opening game there. It's amazing. The TV is mesmerizing. The giant screen. It's all you can look at.
I was there about 10 years ago. I thought I was at the Bellagio, and then someone had to shake me. He's like, "No, you're in
Arlington." It does feel like you're like you're in a hotel in like a really nice Ramada. What's your favorite memory, Niners Cowboys? Because all I remember is beating you guys. Those are my favorite memories. Well, I don't remember.
No, it's not. It's honestly why I hate the Niners.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, as a Cowboy fan from the 70s, you're supposed to hate the Steelers. And then growing up there, but I got to say, the Niners, we never got them. We never got them back then. So I genuinely, like, after the catch, it just felt like passing of the torch until
early 90s.
Until the early 90s.
Yeah.
Which was the last time we were good.
By the way, it's the last time the Niners won a Super Bowl. I mean, it's been 30 years for us, too.
Which is hard to believe.
I'm going to go off script here, like a quarterback who kind of like lets the play break down.
Sure.
And then tries to make it. I'm just throwing a Hail Mary here. You seem like a guy who's been around a little bit. Mm-hmm. You have any Michael Irvin stories?
I wish I had Michael Irvin stories like I have Tracy Morgan stories.
Gotcha.
Oh, good. Here we go.
Yeah. I think everyone has a Michael Irvin story just by seeing it.
It sounds like Matt might have a Michael Irvin story.
Yeah.
Matt likes to talk about his partying past. Everyone's free to do a little bump right now because we're talking about Matt party.
I didn't have one when I asked it, but I do remember about 4 years ago I shot a film, and at the location was a bar they had like 3 bars in their chain. And the manager came over before we started rolling that day. He's like, "You want to see something?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he showed me security footage from that the night before. And Michael Irvin was in a stairwell with a 4. Let's just call it a 4.
Sure. Okay.
And just took her into the stairwell.
A Mark Gray slump buster?
More or less.
Yeah.
But at his age, this is only 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
like,
you can't,
Okay.
You can't take a guy out of the hot tub. Whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go to something happy here because
Sure.
Yeah. Speaking of the Niners like owning the Cowboys.
Great segue.
Your Michigan Wolverines own the Ohio State fucking Buckeyes.
Excuse me one second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Where's the hat?
Yeah, here we go.
No, right there.
Show us the lettuce.
Yeah, there it is.
Michigan beat everybody. I know right now we are still the current national champions.
You are.
Which is great, but yes.
When does that get rescinded, though? Didn't you guys do a bunch of recruiting violations last year?
Oh, please. You know what? There's, first of all, yes, the Harbaugh the
got
suspended.
And all that. He wasn't even the coach last year against Ohio State.
He got out, but Harbaugh got out at the right time. It's impossible to be.
Well, that's smart. He did what Pete Carroll did at USC, right, Matt?
Sure.
It's impossible. Yeah. I will say this, with NIL money now and everything else, the reason why Michigan is all of a sudden competitive again is because Michigan actually does things on the up and up. Like, they are paying people and doing it now. Thank you, Larry Ellison's wife.
That's crazy, by the way.
But I think in the past, meaning the last 20 years, you'd have your Alabamas, your other SEC teams were basically like you weren't allowed to pay, but they were paying. Even Ohio State, we know they would do it. I'm not justifying anything that went on.
Right.
But at the end of the day, Michigan won the national championship last year.
Yeah.
And we sure as hell didn't have anybody to help us this year when we beat Ohio State. So, yeah, all's good. All's good in the Michigan world.
But they're 7-5. So, I mean, obviously, them beating Ohio State's your whole season.
Yes. No, we salvaged the season. We knew this was a rebuilding year. We definitely did not have a single quarterback. The running game was a little bit disappointing, except for Khalil Mullings, and we really didn't have any star players. I mean, there were no receivers too, and we lost 13 guys to the pros. Yeah. 13. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
I was rooting for Michigan. I have no skin in that game, but I was rooting for Michigan against Ohio State because Ohio State's paid for their team, and I just loved the colors. I've always been. I was a Cal guy.
The song, it's a good song. Champions of the West.
No. Come on, hail to the victors.
Victors of the West, whatever. Isn't that the right song?
Hail to the victors.
Yeah, whatever.
When I was a child, when we were kids and we were finding what college teams to root for, it was basically sometimes based off the uniform. I loved how the Syracuse Orangemen looked, and I loved the Navy and the maize and the gold. Man.
I will say, having grown up in Ohio. And being a Michigan fan, both my parents went there.
Greg went to Harvard. I don't know why he's not rooting for the Harvard Crimson more.
Quality high school football. Quality high school football there.
You're more of a hasty pudding guy than a football team guy.
All right.
Greg was
in.
Jesus.
Yes,
no, he was. He was a star.
Yes.
Do you guys want to just work this out? I can go.
He was the actor in the original stage read of Good Will Hunting. Isn't that right? When they did a table read of that thing?
That is true. That was a lifetime ago. That was a lifetime ago.
Tell me this way: when you were in the original stage?
No, I was in like a directing class with Matt Damon, and most people were doing actual plays and directing that, and he had this script he'd been working on, and he asked if we could do it.
Greg punched it up.
Yeah,
you did that. How about them apples? How about them apples? I think that was his line.
I played the Robin Williams part. It was one scene. And I thought, this is great.
There was no William Goldman. It was Greg Schaffer.
That's right.
Where's your fucking Academy?
Yeah,
That's bullshit.
Come on.
Fuck those guys. Harvard guys do
Geronimo.
that.
Do you like apples?
Yeah.
Well, I got a number. How do you like them apples?
Did you come up with the idea to put the cock-sucking scene of the therapist in there so to make sure the studios were reading it? Yeah.
Yes. No. Anyway, back to Michigan. It was really hard to be My first memory of television is Michigan-Ohio State football game. So I live and breathe maize and blue. I have a special bond with going with my dad, and my mom before that. It was just football's everything.
So were you like Fab Five? Were you into the like?
Yeah. Oh my God, yes, 1992. Yeah. Don't get me started on the Chris Webber, the technical.
Craig never adjusted though to the baggy shorts. He likes them really tight.
Yes,
we all do now. But as a kid, like I loved Michigan basketball because of the Fab Five. What they did for basketball, like I was a huge fan. I mean, how could you not love Jalen Rose and Chris Webber and Jimmy King?
Hey,
people forget that they won it in '90. What was the year?
1989.
Ramil Robinson.
1989.
Yeah.
Glenn Rice.
Yeah.
And remember, the sixth man on that team was Rob Pelinka.
1989. Yeah. Harvard won the hockey national championship.
The Frozen
that
Four.
Year. Yeah.
You know what I loved about the Ohio State-Michigan game? I know I'm getting with little Tourette's here, but on TikTok, and I know you're a big TikTok fan.
Yeah.
They've been doing a lot of these mashup videos of the Michigan team coming out of the tunnel, and they're walking through the tunnel, and people are putting film scores. So my favorite one is the Beast score from Sicario, where it's like it's just like
I haven't seen that one yet.
And Michigan's walking out, and they walk out, and Ohio State's like this. And it gives me goosebumps right now.
That's
so
great.
No,
I normally they just put like the Titanic theme song, to any like the last play or something. And as dumb as it may seem, I probably watch it over and over and over again, like with the national championship last year.
Look, we all find our own things that we hate, and so I read about Chip Kelly going to Ohio State so he would win a national championship as an assistant coach. By the way, got paid a ton of money.
Yeah,
terrible 49ers coach. Yeah. Anyway, so I always root for Michigan that game anyway.
That was a little bit. I mean, it's amazing and
then they schadenfreude 10 points.
The Schadenfreude of just like, I mean, there was so much we should have been killed. I just want them to like cover. Not that I was betting. I can't bet on that game, but I just want them to like keep it close. Keep it close.
It was like an old school pack or Big Ten game that made people hate the Big Ten,
was.
right?
Yeah, but I think people were still kind of just shocked. Like they were just like, you spend all that money, then you still don't have a kicker when it matters.
But what was great was like, I'm a USC guy. I mean, I was texting friends. I'm like, are you watching this Michigan-Ohio State game? Like this, it was great.
It was good theater.
You ever planted a flag anywhere, Greg?
By the way,
like in your bed or something like that.
By the way, can we just bury this? I mean, Michigan got blown out at home by Texas and Oregon this year.
Yeah.
You know what they did? They planted the flag. And you know what Michigan did? They put their head down and said, you know what?
Yeah.
We were the worst team. And they walked into their locker room.
Right. I'm with you on that.
That's going to be a clip.
Also, I think it makes it for just as a fans, it's better. Like I hate the fact that we have instant replay in baseball because we don't have any arguing with the umps. There's no more ejections. There's no more brawls in baseball. Yeah, so anytime we can get some of that like WrestleMania shit, I'm all for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they lost. They they really lost. Like Michigan was genuinely happy.
It was their whole season. Like I said.
Yeah, no. I can live off that forever because I have a couple of friends like Humphrey and some of these people in the fantasy football league I'm in, and they're all like, "Hey, well, you probably made our path for the national championship easier because of the teams they're going to play." I'm like, I don't care. You guys can win the national championship. You still lost Michigan.
You used to call that, indirect in tennis. Like if I beat someone and then they beat somebody else, then I'm like, suddenly I beat Jimmy Connors. Like I beat my brother who beat a guy who beat Jimmy Connors. So therefore I'm better than Jimmy Connors.
It's kind of
so you guys would be number one in the country.
Yeah.
It's like
a sports version of Eskimo Brothers. Exactly.
Eskimo Brothers. Gotcha. Not to be confused with Brews Brothers. By the way, two segues. We need to talk a little about your Hollywood career, but I also want to hear about fantasy football. This guy has been playing fantasy football before there was fantasy football, I feel like.
How long have you been playing fantasy?
Oh, God. I think the league is on, I think we're on 23 years now or something. It's just insane.
Yeah. I've been doing this for can I give you my first draft, who I drafted?
Yeah.
Randy Moss, Drew Bledsoe, and Clinton Portis. This was like 21 years ago.
Yeah. No, yeah. So the league one of the leagues I am in of the two is, the league that the show The League was based on. So yeah, somehow I guess I would be Taco. Although
I was gonna say which character you
with a lot less. Pop.
Can I tell you my very first fantasy football team name?
Please.
Michael Irvin's Hotel Room.
It's all coming back.
It is, right?
So Matt obviously has a story that he wants to tell. His subconscious has something about Michael Irvin that it's going to come out.
It's now called Michael Irvin's Stairwell.
Yeah,
Stairwell
is your new team.
I want before Paul,
he's won 4 games this year.
Before Paul segues into the Hollywood career, just for the virals here, give us a Cowboys prediction. Just game it out. What's going to happen at the end here?
I'm an optimist when it comes to the Cowboys eventually because I think people don't live forever, although Jerry Jones may have found the panacea with the Johnny Blue and the Solo Cup forever and ever. And actually, I don't hate the man. I just hate what he's done to the team.
Okay.
I'm an optimist and going to say McCarthy does get let go.
Okay.
And then we bring in somebody else. It's not going to be Deion Sanders for the Raiders.
Give us a name. Give me a name.
Belichick?
Give me a hope name that you want.
Oh, God, I hope it's not Belichick. Anyone but Belichick. I don't want... No, I honestly would be happy if it was a college coach that is, like, taking the leap, like, who's done, like, amazing work. I would love...
Like Kirby Smart or something like that.
Yeah, but it won't be Kirby Smart. It's got to be, like, what's the guy's name from... who just turned around Indiana. Right.
Or Arizona State.
From James Madison to Indiana.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. But, I would love something like that who's like a dynamic guy that realizes, I'm not going to be able to keep this up in college football with the portal.
What about the offensive coordinator for Detroit, Ben Johnson?
He's great. It's weird. I've heard that he doesn't give great, like what's his name from Kansas City?
Bieniemy?
Yeah, Bieniemy. Wouldn't get a coaching job forever and ever.
Right.
I've heard kind of the same thing. Like, I don't know what. I mean, I like Ben Johnson, no question. But look, it all comes down to can they work with Jerry, and how long is Jerry going to really have his finger on the dial?
You know what, Paul? And this takes us back to a few interviews before. Was I think coaches don't want to work for Jerry because it's kind of like, do I want to work for Scott Rudin or Harvey Weinstein? In a sense, not calling him a
no,
man, but it's just like this is going to be too much oversight.
Right. Yeah, he micromanages.
But I think we're getting to that point, and this is the optimism again. I do not wish ill will on the man, but he's getting older. Like,
Yeah. So basically, you're rooting for him to die. Just say it,
he's
Greg.
getting up there.
Yeah.
I have not technically said that.
You want to go in the back room at Matt's dad's bar and see the menu. How do you poison Jerry Jones and get away with it?
I was going to say cut to the clip from Goodfellas, but maybe cut to the clip with when Luke throws the Emperor down the stairwell.
Sure. But what about the fact they got to pay Dak $60 million a year now? I know you have Dak Cologne, so I know you're a big fan of his.
Yeah. You know, just what's the slogan on Dak Cologne?
What to wear if you don't want to score.
Yeah.
All I can say, it doesn't matter. That's funny. All I can
He went right through that.
Yeah.
All I can say is like same
that
thing.
That clip,
with,
by the way, of the Cowboy fan breaking his TV. That's actually Greg.
That's Greg.
That's Greg. That is
That's
Greg.
Greg.
Shh. Don't tell my wife. It's the same thing with Soto in baseball. It's like it's such funny money. The only justification I can say right now is that in 2 or 3 years, that's not going to be that much money, probably.
Right. But you got to move on from the guy. You got to get a better quarterback.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that
was the whole thing with Sanders. Like tank, try to get his son, and then get him. But you're not there. And then won 2 games in a row. They're not going to get that.
It's not going to happen. I mean, we're just kind of in that box. He's been a phenomenal regular season quarterback. I mean, he really has been.
That's true.
It's just the getting over that playoff.
You guys have similar haircuts, I feel like.
Yeah. Similar paychecks. Yes. Oh, Cowboys.
Speaking of Cowboys, in the business, Tracy Morgan show.
I'd like to take credit for being on the one show where networks then realize, oh wait, he shouldn't be the lead in the show.
Yeah.
That's like a Cosby type show.
Yeah.
If Cosby weren't Cosby in real life.
Yeah.
That was the problem. I did work on the show, about 20 years ago, called the Tracy Morgan Show.
Yeah.
I will say though, yes, he was a crazy.
Yeah.
Still crazy.
Yeah.
But nice crazy.
Yeah.
Like genuinely like a good guy.
Yeah.
And he did take us out occasionally, like the writers, and we met at the Sky Bar once at Mondrian, and he's like, we just thought we were going to have like a drink, maybe an appetizer, and all of a sudden there's like bottles of Cristal being passed around.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, you don't need to do this. I'll just take like a vodka soda.
Right.
That's what we drank back then. And he's like, no, you got to have some. I'm like, no, all right. Seriously, thanks. Like, you don't need to do this. And he's like, if I don't spend it, I'll blow it.
That's interesting you say blow it, because the only time I've ever run into Tracy Morgan.
Here we go.
No, was I ran into him at 4 a.m. at a 7-Eleven by my house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was Michael Irvin there?
He might have been in the car. Great fucking call back there. But I walked into a 7-Eleven at 4 a.m. And I'm not telling you why I was walking into a 7-Eleven at 4 a.m. But he was in there holding court with the Indian staff who wasn't listening, just talking up a storm.
Yeah.
You want this? You want that? What do you want? I'll buy you this. Just on one.
Yeah.
And was a sweetheart though. He was a sweetheart.
There's something missing in almost in a good way, which kind of makes him unique.
Kind of a genius-y kind of.
Yeah,
comic.
there's a little bit of that.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you don't spend it, you'll blow it.
We do a segment called "The Best Things We Saw," what we're watching these days.
Yeah.
Is there anything you're watching? What are you loving these days, or hating?
No.
That we can tell our audience.
Well, I'm hitting the Cowboys.
You're hitting the Cowboys. Yeah.
And I'm loving Michigan football and basketball, by the way.
Yeah.
Day is a really great coach. Excited about that. When it comes to actually watching things, this is a little bit older. It's been a couple of years, but I only found it earlier this year on Apple TV. Drops of God.
Oh God. We run the West Coast fan club of that show.
Yeah.
And maybe, whatever, Brews
There's a
Brothers
season
is
2
about
coming,
beer. And
apparently.
there is. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I just love that show so much.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Slow Horses, I think, is probably one of the best shows on television.
Right.
I mean, Gary Oldman, it's just perfect for him. And actually, I literally just started watching Black Doves that came out last night.
I watched the pilot the other day.
It literally, it's another Slow
Spy.
Horses-ish.
Spy-ish,
the
British,
and the guy,
we'll
the actor who plays like Q in the new Bond movies is the other lead with Keira Knightley.
Ben Whishaw.
right.
Yes,
Ben Whishaw.
Ben Whishaw, thank you. And I've actually, it was better than I thought it was going to be.
Can I make surmise that the reason why we might like the show is because we both went, Keira Knightley still got her fastball?
Yeah, she's good. She's good. Yeah.
Hey, by the way,
Yeah.
is Brews Brothers, which was a very funny show and didn't have the fate that it deserved on Netflix, is it still on Netflix? Can our fans?
Yes. No. You can still watch Brews Brothers and give me 3 pennies for
everybody
watching
watch Brews Brothers. Very funny show.
I don't think it's
and
3
get Greg
pennies, a little
3
less.
pennies or 4.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun to do, and some great, funny actors in it. And Netflix. It's hard to do comedies on there. We can't all be Ted Humphrey.
How's your fantasy team doing this year?
Next question.
Next question. We're gonna end with a segment brought to you by Ora Bora here. It's a Paul segment called
Who Plays You in the Biopic? Oh yeah, I always ask people that. Who plays Greg Schafer in the movie? I know you got your SAG card.
Well,
it could be you.
Apparently, it's young Cal Ripken.
That was Nick.
That was Nick. He went with Cal.
Unfortunately,
your wife says it's somebody else.
Yeah, my wife. Well, the problem is I didn't want to have the horseshoe, and I got balder, so I shaved my head now. But my wife seems to think I look like Michael Chiklis. But I think Michael Chiklis when he was in Fantastic Four as the guy in Fantastic Four. So yeah.
You know what, Greg? You know what the official Beat LA position on this is? Because of CGI and like Scorsese, we can age people younger.
Right.
Let's get Ed Harris to play, Greg.
Ed Harris.
Oh, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
That's a good one. You wouldn't have gotten that till you shaved your head.
No, I'm down with that. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I like
Yeah,
that.
we can end on that.
Yeah.
Do you know who Ed Harris's wife is?
Oh, Amy Madigan?
Amy Madigan from Field of Dreams.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Can someone give me a high five for that?
That is impressive.
I know
Both
a lot of
you.
random
Yeah.
shit. I've only seen Field of Dreams 400 times.
Amy Madigan.
And we know who is going to play Paul Rule in the Paul Rule biopic. I mean,
Tony Romo.
that's who it should be, yes. No.
Who is it, Greg?
Who is it, Greg?
Oh, come on. It's W.
W.
Yeah.
Do you know that Josh Brolin and I got drunk at the same bar back when Josh Brolin was drinking?
Yeah.
And some guy, we were in Venice at the Ale House, wherever it was, and some guy, because he played W in the movie. And this drunk
that's right.
guy
Totally forgot that.
was coming up to both of us and giving us shit for both looking like W.
Oh, my God.
And then Josh Brolin threatened to kick the guy. We bonded over this and threatened to kick the guy's ass, and then the guy left.
I thought you were going to say he's seeing two. Yeah. 2 W's.
Yeah.
2 W's, right. I don't punch people, Greg. I'm kind of a pussy.
Yeah.
Greg Schafer, thanks for being on the show.
Gentlemen, fun as always.
Dude, it's great to have you. We could talk all day. But
yeah.
All right, we'll do the behind the paywall version where Greg talks dirty stories about.
Oh, yeah, next time. There's a lot to tell.
All right, brother. Great job, man. Great to see you. Thanks.
Oh, I see blue drink. Just got a new drink. Now there is a cooler. Now there is a cooler. It's candy apple cooler. Candy apple cooler.
All right, folks, we're back. Paul, your boy Greg. Your boys, when they come on the show, they bring it.
They do bring it. I tell you, he could have. God love you, Greg. You could have been much harsher on me. Thank you, pal. He was the MC in my wedding, by the way. Greg,
yeah, I remember that.
Those dulcet tones. He's a voiceover guy, among other things. We didn't even get into his voiceover career.
Yeah.
He did a lot of things. He did a band called Spanky Porpoise, I think was the name of the band.
Spanky Porpoise.
Yeah, he played Ted Humphrey's senior ball.
I felt like there was some tension between the two of you. I felt like I was sort of like at the
Hot Spanky Porpoise, I think was the name of the band. Actually,
I felt like I was at the peace accords, some sort of accords of some kind.
People aren't sure how much into my past they should go when they're on the podcast.
Yeah, because it felt like I was Macron and it was Trump and Zelensky, which happened over last week in Paris, and I felt like I was trying to.
No, yeah, it was good. It was good. But anyway, great guy. Thank you, Greg, for being there, being here today. We loved our interview with you.
This podcast is brought to you by Pet Pro Supply Co.
There we go.
And I say that because we're going to do a segment right now called Pet Peeves that people love. Pet Pro Supply Co. They're still sponsoring the show. They're still around, and you can still get everything you want for your dogs, cats, iguanas, crocodiles, lizards, snails, and ant farms at Pet Pro Supply Co. They're a great sponsor of the show. Paul, do you have any pet peeves or pet pleasures this week?
Yeah, so quickly. So I have one of each.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Let's go.
So my pet peeve at the moment, I'm so fucking sick of the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes State Farm ads.
Hey, Jake from State Farm. Check it out.
The old Fumble-Rooski.
Or you can bundle home and auto and save money. The old Bundle-Rooski.
Everybody in this country is sick of Kansas City, right? We're sick of these guys.
Yeah.
Why does State Farm think I'm going to actually want to buy insurance watching ads from these fuckers, particularly if you're a 49er fan, what they've done to us in the last 2 Super Bowls? So State Farm, get your shit together. Now, I understand California doesn't have much of insurance because state's like on fire and fucked up, and State Farm is mostly pulled out of California, but that pisses me off.
Can I tell you why they're getting? I have a theory why.
Why?
if you can't get people connected to Taylor Swift, get the people that are connected to Taylor Swift. God, it's a subliminal Taylor Swift thing.
That makes it even worse. Yeah. All right, so my pet pleasure, Matt, sports bars. I went to a sports bar yesterday.
Yeah.
I knew you and Aaron were watching together.
Yeah.
I walked down my hill. You know how pissed off I've been about Pink Taco going?
Yes.
So I'm going to give a shout out. This is also a shout out / pet pleasure.
Okay.
The Naughty Pig on Sunset Boulevard across from where Pink Taco used to be, right next to the Body Shop. You know what I'm talking about? Which also just got a reboot, by the way. They have the Sunday ticket package. I walked down the hill, sat outside. Niners game was on with audio.
Yeah.
Fucking great. I got a new sports bar. And I was thrilled. I felt like the golden days of goal almost.
I'm happy for you, Paul, because I know you're a man of simple pleasures.
I know. And I know I didn't call you guys, but sometimes man just needs to be on his own.
You needed a little solo time.
I needed to walk the earth.
Yeah.
Just
Kung
like
Fu,
Kane and
like
Kung
David,
Fu.
David Carradine. I have one pet peeve.
Okay.
And that pet peeve, and this kind of hit me with Wicked coming out and how people were singing in Wicked at the theaters. I have a real problem with people singing in public. Really do. Like, God, you should not.
Such a Grinch.
Fucking sing. I was at a restaurant bar having dinner, and these three people at the bar started to sing behind me because they just remembered a song they loved and they tried to harmonize it. It drove me fucking crazy. And this might be when I worked at the Pantages Theater. And people would come up and buy tickets.
All right. I hear you. Okay.
And they would all think they're musicals.
Don't
fucking sing in public if you're not in a fucking musical. Save it for rehearsal and save it for the stage. It's fucking. It's a bad,
I know you're pissed off that you didn't. That
look.
Craig Schafer was in The Little Prince on Broadway, and you probably auditioned for that.
Stop fucking singing on. Okay, hey folks, we're gonna go to the best things we saw.
Sure.
This is the segment here where people come to listen to the Beat LA podcast because they want to know what or what not to watch,
right?
And they rely on us, Paul.
They do. They particularly you. Because you actually watch stuff.
But what makes it more fascinating is what you're going to say.
Because I watched this little show called Cheers. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah.
Finally got around to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, so anyway, I'll do real fast because you got more stuff. I started watching Day of the Jackal.
Okay.
I quite enjoyed the first episode, and I'm going to stick with that. And then the other thing, Matt, we're going to do a little more music on this show.
Okay.
So what to listen to. So I have a new band that's an old band, kind of, called the Hard Quartet, and it's not like, hardcore or porn or something like that. It's Stephen Malkmus from Pavement and kind of an 90s alt-rock super band. Check out the Hard Quartet. If you're missing like kind of 90s alt-rock, they're fucking great.
Hard Quartet.
Hard Quartet.
Got it.
There's a kind of a 90s alt-rock thing happening in the zeitgeist right now.
I like that. I like how that sounds.
Yeah,
I like it. Okay. I will do so. I have a few things that I want to recommend for best things I saw. I watched a lot of stuff. We were off for 2 weeks.
We were off 2 weeks. That's why this is such a long podcast.
Because we're just getting to know it. It's like a long first date, baby. If you guys aren't watching Lioness, Lioness, Lioness on Paramount Plus, Taylor Sheridan show.
Right, not Linus from the Peanuts. We've talked about this.
So it's the exact opposite. Taylor Sheridan, he does Yellowstone, all this stuff, Landman, but he also created Sicario, the film. Lioness is fucking crazy. It's the best show on television you're not watching.
Wow.
If you love that action, if you love your spy game, slow horses thing, Lioness is fucking wild. Every episode I watch, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? There's explosions. It's like a $50 million John Woo action movie of explosions and
told me about this.
gunfire.
Didn't Zoe? She gets like naked.
Well, what's great about it is she knows what she's doing.
Right.
She gets
Zoe
into a gunfight.
Saldana?
Yeah, she gets into a gunfight, and then she's got to go to the office, and she'll change right in front of us. Boom. Yeah. Nick, Lioness, it's the best show on television. The season 2 finale was last night. Blew me the fuck away. Unbelievable.
Great.
I just want to say The Diplomat, season 2 on Netflix now.
I'm watching that too.
So you saw season 1?
I saw season 1 and I saw the first episode of season 2.
Okay. Season 2 is only 6 episodes.
I know.
The finale of season 2, I fell out of my chair, Paul.
Great.
It's one of the best written shows. I love this show.
Kristen, my wife, you listen to this? Kristen doesn't want to watch the rest of the season. We're going to watch the rest of the season.
Kristen, you got to watch the rest of it because the finale will fuck you up. It's so good. The Diplomat, so good. Once again, Nick, you got to watch that. A couple other things that I enjoyed.
Kerry Russell is the same school of acting as Claire Danes. I don't know. They both look like they need a sandwich to me. Right?
Okay, sure.
Don't they need?
No, I think they're at the same school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're kind of a little too skinny.
Yeah. I actually think Kerry Russell's better than Claire Danes in Homeland. If you were going to kind of put those two diplomat characters in the same genre.
Yeah, there you go.
I would hang out with Kerry Russell. Yeah. You know what you got? Speaking of the diplomat, and for those people who know the diplomat right now, you got some Hal vibes.
Is that Rufus Sewell?
You got some, but like the character himself, like the husband that's going to try to like kind of wedge his way into the fucking process.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's kind of you.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Finally, Interior Chinatown with Chloe Bennett, my girl, on Hulu. Weird show, but it's really quite good with Jimmy O Yang. And Say Nothing. It's about the IRA. It's on FX. It's a drama, 6 episodes about the IRA, Prestige TV, Paul.
Incredible, man.
And I know you're a big fan of the IRA.
Do you ever sleep?
I don't. I have trouble sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you need to get on some drugs for that. Those are our recommendations. Any shout outs before we go here?
No, I shouted out the Naughty Pig. I shout out, I don't know. No, I'm not going to shout out anybody. I'm going to be super selfish.
I got a shout out for you. The Cobra, Dave Parker, making the Hall of Fame.
You know, I wanted to talk about that. You probably met him in rehab too.
That's what I love about him. But also, I loved his game, man. He was a big, burly, like defensive end with lefties. And
he was good. We are family Pirates. And Dick Allen also got in too. I saw the Veterans Committee. I got a big bug up my ass about the Hall of Fame. We can talk about that next week. What they did to Bonds and Clemens and all these guys, the best players of an era aren't in there. Like, it's just not, I don't know. I don't take the whole thing seriously anymore.
Well, folks, that was an extended director's cut of the Beat LA podcast. We figured we've had a couple of weeks off. We had a lot to talk about. We're glad you listened. Folks, stick around. Next week will be our final year-end Best of 2024 pod.
I'm going to be wearing a tie again, Matt.
Where we're going to get dressed up, and we're going to have a special guest we're going to have on the show, and this is going to be breaking news. We can't do the best things without having a third person next to us in the mix for the entire show, and that's going to be Nick Conrad is going to be our guest on the show next week.
Does Nick know this?
He doesn't know this yet. Nick's going to be with us talking about the best things of 2024. He could just Ed McMahon it and just interject whatever. But Nick, you're going to be on the show with us next week. Okay. All right.
He can't say no on air.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Paul, good to see you.
Good to see you, Matt.
Until next week.
Beat LA.
Beat LA.